0241 hours, Philippine Sea, international waters. The ocean was calm, dark, silent, stretching endlessly under a moonlit sky. On the surface, the U.S. Navy's Carrier Strike Group 5 moved steadily through the Philippine Sea. At its center, the aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan, one of the most powerful naval assets in the Indo-Pacific. Surrounding it were destroyers, cruisers, supply vessels, and 2 submarines operating unseen beneath the formation. It was a routine presence patrol, until an unexpected detection triggered a shift from routine to alert. 0244 hours, Combat Information Center, USS Reagan. A sonar operator aboard the USS Spruance, DDG-111, squinted at his display. A faint sonar return appeared, not from a whale, not from geology, and not from the U.S. escort submarines. The contact was slow-moving, unusually quiet, and sitting well below the thermocline, the layer of water that masks sound. The operator spoke carefully. "CIC, we have a possible submerged contact. Bearing 316, classification unknown." Moments later, a second destroyer, USS Higgins, confirmed the same trace. 2 sources meant one thing: it was real. 0249 hours, identification attempt. The sonar profile was analyzed through the AN/SQQ-89 Undersea Warfare Suite. Propeller blade count, 6. Acoustic signature, diesel-electric, engine cycling, intermittent, suggesting battery operation. That meant the contact was not a nuclear submarine. It was running silent. A junior analyst whispered, "Possible Romeo class, maybe Sang-O." The officer in charge corrected him quietly. "No, too deep, too quiet, too precise." Only one North Korean submarine matched that description, and only rumors suggested it had ever left North Korean waters. The designation appeared on screen: potential SINPOC. KPA Navy Experimental Ballistic Missile Submarine. A shockwave of silence filled the room. 0257 hours, U.S. response protocol activates. The strike group entered condition yellow, raised surveillance levels, and repositioned escort ships into a defensive ring. Aircraft were not launched, not yet. Provocation could escalate the situation instantly. Instead, U.S. command issued a silent directive: track, do not engage. 2 American attack submarines moved into shadow positions using passive sonar only. Above them, the Reagan continued cruising at constant speed, as if nothing was happening. 0311 hours, South Korea, joint intelligence feed. Satellite tracking from South Korea's early warning network confirmed unusual submarine deployment activity 48 hours prior from Sinpo Shipyard, the home of North Korea's strategic submarine program. 1 submarine departure, no declared exercise, no diplomatic notification. It wasn't heading toward Japan or toward home waters. Its trajectory pointed directly toward the U.S. Carrier Strike Group. 0322 hours, depth 480 meters, enemy movement. The unidentified submarine slowly altered its depth, rising from 480 to 310 meters. The maneuver was deliberate, controlled, and slow enough to avoid sudden sonar spikes. Both U.S. submarines matched movement silently. Inside the Reagan's command deck, a senior officer spoke the concern everyone shared. "If this is a ballistic missile test platform, why risk it here?" No one answered. 0337 hours, intelligence cross-check. Analysts reviewed the submarine's speed and movement pattern. It wasn't fleeing, it wasn't preparing to attack, it wasn't positioning for a missile launch. Instead, it was matching the strike group's formation, shadowing it, escorting it, like it was studying the carrier battle group structure, or signaling that it could. 0344 hours, unexpected interference. Suddenly, the sonar return shifted. The submarine accelerated, only slightly, but enough to trigger an alert, and then something stranger happened. Electronic interference. Communications aboard one of the escort ships experienced a brief, unexplained disruption. Less than 2 seconds. Not jamming, not cyber intrusion, a frequency spike, a signal transmission underwater. One analyst quietly labeled it encrypted acoustic burst transmission. Someone, or something, was communicating. 0352 hours, attempted contact. Navy protocol required an attempt at identification. A coded underwater acoustic message was transmitted. Unidentified submarine. You are in proximity to a U.S. naval formation. Identify and alter course. No response. Seconds passed. Then, a faint return signal, but instead of a call sign, language, or tone identifier, the submarine sent 3 pulses of sound, evenly spaced, mathematically precise. Nothing in NATO communication doctrine matched it. One officer looked up. Was that a message? No one knew. 0403 hours. The unexpected maneuver. Without warning, the North Korean submarine changed direction, not away, not toward, but under the strike group, a position submarines avoid due to sonar exposure and weapon vulnerability. It was either reckless or extremely confident. U.S. submarines repositioned rapidly. The entire strike group shifted to condition orange. Weapons remained cold but ready. Everyone waited for the next move. 0411 hours, the breaking point. As the submarine passed beneath the carrier's projected path, the contact suddenly began to ascend. Very slowly, very intentionally, as if it wanted to be detected, as if it wanted the U.S. Navy to know, we are here. And then, just when tension reached its highest point, the sonar trace vanished. No collapse signature, no implosion, no engine shutdown. It simply disappeared, like it was never there. The ocean returned to silence, and the strike group resumed standard operations. But no one believed the incident was over. Somewhere beneath the surface, something had moved with intent, precision, and purpose. Something North Korea was not known to possess. The unanswered question hung in the command room like smoke. How did it disappear? And who was it signaling? For 12 hours, immediate aftermath. Alarms were lowered, but no one relaxed. A submarine vanishing without noise meant one of three things. It escaped. It shut down completely, or something else was happening below the thermocline. Command ordered a silent search pattern. No aggressive pings, no weapon activation, only passive listening. Every ship in the formation was now waiting. For 19 hours. Satellite correlation. A secure alert arrived from U.S. intelligence analysts. A brief heat signature had been recorded from space, only seconds after the submarine disappeared. Not an explosion, not a launch, a burst of directed energy, almost like a communication relay. Destination unknown. For 26 hours, the second signal. One of the U.S. attack submarines detected a faint return, not a sonar signature this time, but another acoustic sequence. 3 pulses again. Then 4. A pattern change. Intentional. No recognized naval communication system used that structure, yet it was unmistakably deliberate. A handshake, a confirmation, or perhaps a warning. 0433 hours. Interpretation. Attempt. Linguistic analysts ran simulations. One interpretation emerged. Message received. If true, the submarine wasn't hiding. It had completed its objective. 441 hours. Surface silence. The carrier strike group continued course. No further contacts appeared. No radar anomalies. No disruption. But the tension never faded. Someone finally spoke aloud what everyone had already concluded. North Korea didn't send that submarine to attack us. They sent it to be seen. 0502 hours. Final report. The incident was classified under strategic irregular activity, maritime. No press release, no diplomatic statement, no acknowledgement. Privately, analysts noted one final unsettling detail. Based on recorded energy output and acoustic control, the submarine operated with a level of stealth beyond North Korean known capability. Someone, somewhere, had assisted. China, Russia, or a black program no one expected. The file ended with one line: objective unknown, technology unmatched, event unresolved. 0514 hours. Classified debrief. As dawn approached over the Philippine Sea, the strike group finally exhaled, but the debrief room aboard USS Reagan stood tense, lit only by red lamps and silent screens. Senior intelligence officers gathered around the encrypted terminal where the incident logs were stored. A final encrypted packet had arrived. Its contents were disturbing. Inside the acoustic spectrum, hidden under layers of noise, analysts discovered a pattern not naturally occurring, not random, and not entirely human in origin. A harmonized frequency shift, something no diesel-electric submarine should be able to produce. One scientist whispered the first thought no one wanted to say. Someone upgraded that submarine. But who? Moments later, the system flagged the pulse pattern again, this time with a decoded suggestion: possible source, unknown, deep-sea platform, location, classified, beneath the Philippine basin, meaning the submarine may not have been acting alone. 0521 hours. Unsettling revelation. A final review of satellite data revealed something impossible. A structure, metallic, geometric, briefly visible 6,000 meters below the surface during the energy burst. Not a submarine, not debris, not geological. A presence. The report's last classified annotation was short, but chilling. There is something else in those depths. 0529 hours. The unanswered truth. The carrier strike group sailed on, the ocean calm once more. But every sailor aboard knew what the Pentagon would never publicly admit: the encounter hadn't ended. It had only begun. Somewhere in the darkness below the thermocline, something was watching, something was learning, something was waiting. And whatever message was sent that night was never meant for the U.S. Navy.